Horoscope, an astrological forecast for January 2026 for representatives of the Capricorn sign. January 2026 for you is a grandiose time, just like this month itself. Throughout just one calendar month, the beginning of 10 new planetary cycles occurs at once, the majority of which begin precisely in your sign. And each new cycle is like a vortex. Such a forming vortex of energy, into which, like seeds, we can sow our intentions and goals. Moreover, in January, a new moon occurs precisely in your sign. And for you, this is a personal Capricorn new year. But that's not the main thing. A new moon in one's own sign. It essentially occurs every year. But in January 2026, for your sign, a much more global and grandiose astrological event occurs, which last happened in December 2007. And this event will not repeat anytime soon. For you, this is a time of a global reboot, when you receive an energy impulse from the cosmos for the next 14 years. Now you have colossal tools in your hands for transforming your life. And if you were waiting for some sign from above, waiting for a fortunate moment for, so to speak, the beginning of a new life, then this time is coming precisely now. Yes, perhaps this sounds pompous, but everything grandiose often begins with a small step, with an internal decision, with a clear awareness of what kind of person I want to be and how I want to live. This seems simple and insignificant after all. Everyone wants to live well. But what does this word, well, encompass exactly for you? The composition and content of this word are different for each person. But the problem is precisely that most of us do not understand what we truly want. And for you now begins a time of, so to speak, conscious birth. But all this does not happen with the wave of a magic wand. It is born based on our needs. And needs are born from a feeling of dissatisfaction in some sphere of life. And now for you is a time, so to speak, to identify what exactly causes you discomfort. For everyone, it's something different. For someone, it's an uncomfortable sofa, for someone uncomfortable relationships, and for someone, it's uncomfortable personal character traits that become a restraining factor. Now it is important to identify what exactly is that fly in the ointment for you, and to think about how it can be corrected. And of course, the task is to raise the bar of your ambitions in affairs and achievements. And also this task is to adjust the balance of power in relationships, based on the position that I am needed by you, and not the other way around. The time is truly grandiose now, and the energies are only increasing, reaching their peak in February of this year. Let's discuss in detail the most important astrological events of the month and their influence on your sign step by step. On January 1, the planet Mercury moves into your sign and will be here until the 20th. Mercury is our thoughts, words, logic, memory. And when Mercury transits through our own sign, it expands, so to speak, our memory capacity. It gives us more mental capabilities. And for you, this is a time when the mind is literally overflowing with ideas, reflections. This is a time when we connect a great multitude of different events into a single logical chain and make necessary and correct conclusions for ourselves. This is a time when our mind is very active. It constantly offers solutions. And also very often during this time we talk more than is usually typical for us. Mercury also symbolizes our short roads that are nearby. And this is a time when we walk, travel somewhere more than usual, when we change our usual life route. Mercury also symbolizes issues related to documents, so this is a time when you can deal with filing reports or solving some issues related to bureaucracy. But this is what concerns the entire period from January 1 to January 20. And precisely on January 1, Mercury will be in a tense aspect, in a square relative to the planet Neptune. This creates an energy of chaos. This is a day of confusion. We may forget something, mix something up. Not everything may go as we assumed. And also on this day, we may have a desire to, so to speak, remind someone of something to speak out. On January 3, the first full moon of 2026 occurs. The full moon is completion, culmination, clarity, and the seventh house is the sector of partnership relations. And this full moon completes some joint task. For example, you agreed with friends or a life partner or business associates to perform certain actions, and now this task is completed. This full moon gives completion to those themes, plots, or those initiatives that were manifested by you around the end of June 2025. Also, the energy of this full moon, in general, draws your attention to partnership relations. There may be important events in the affairs of your partners, key people for you. This includes your life partner, your business associates, and also close friends. On January 6, on this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Venus occurs in your sign. The parade of new planetary cycles begins, the majority of which occur precisely in your sign. The Sun is our self, our role, our image, our external appearance, and Venus symbolizes beauty, symbolizes our desires and preferences, as well as our choices. And now we receive the results of those desires and choices that we made around January 9, 2022, and also today's themes for reflection, desires in a situation. They may in one way or another echo the events and desires of January 2014 and January 2018. The conjunction of the Sun and Venus in your sign for you is, first of all, reflections and goals related to your image, your external appearance. This is also about the level of your personal satisfaction with yourself. Satisfaction with yourself in the different roles you play. How much do you value yourself in each of these roles? This is generally a time when we want to become better. I will make a separate video with more details about this important and interesting Sun-Venus cycle. On January 8, on this day, a conjunction of Venus and the planet Mars occurs. Again in your sign, in the first house of your horoscope. Venus symbolizes feminine energy and Mars masculine. Venus is our desires, our choices, and Mars is concrete actions. And on this day, you may ask yourself the question, to what extent are your actions in tune with your desires, or are your actions very far from what you actually want? You may ask yourself, am I really acting in accordance with my own choices and desires? Also, the conjunction of Venus and Mars touches on the theme of relationships. Relationships both in personal life and in friendship and in business. This is a time, so to speak, for an audit of relationships. This is a time when you can determine for yourself with whom it is worth improving relations and make an effort in this direction. And with whom these relations are worth, so to speak, clarifying. January 9 is the most important day for your sign. On this day, a conjunction of the Sun and the planet Mars occurs in the first house of your horoscope. This is the beginning of a long cycle of activity. For all other zodiac signs, this is the beginning of an activity cycle for the next 2 years. But for your sign, this is the beginning of a 14-year cycle of activity. The conjunction of the Sun and Mars shows the main field of opportunities for growth. And for you, this is personal growth, because the conjunction occurs in the first house of your horoscope. Usually, during the period of such a conjunction, we want, or rather very strongly want to become someone, to become a mother, a boss, to become an owner of something. Some role, some image at this time is very needed by us. This is a time when such an acute need, heated to white heat, is born. I will make a separate video with more details about the influence of this long Sun-Mars cycle on each of the zodiac signs. On January 9 and 10, the Sun, Venus, and Mars will be in a tense aspect in opposition relative to the planet Jupiter. January 9 and 10 are the exact dates, and the influence of this aspect will be felt until the middle of the month. This is a time when you may encounter disapproval from key partners for you, disapproval of your ideas, actions, or intentions. Someone at this time may oppose your plans. And here you should not exaggerate the significance of other people's opinions in making any decisions by you. Also, the influence of these aspects may manifest itself in such a way that some person from your close circle of communication will take a lot of your attention, will literally demand that you meet their own expectations. On January 17, on this day, the Sun will be in favorable aspects relative to the planets Saturn and Uranus. And this is, first of all, a very good sign for those of you born between January 15 and 19 of any year. Because this aspect will work for you for a whole year, since it is active at the moment of the activation of your annual horoscope, your solar return. That is, your entire year up to the next birthday will pass under the color of lucky stars. For all of you, regardless of the exact date of birth, this is a time when your initiative will be generously rewarded, when your actions and decisions will be accurate and correct, and the results will be very fast. This is a very good time to resolve issues related to travel, children, some organizational issues, also affairs that are related to purchases and the sphere of personal life. And on the same day, January 17, the planet Venus moves into the space of the Aquarius sign, where it will be until February 10. Venus symbolizes love, beauty, luxury, pleasure, prosperity, and it will transit through your second house of the horoscope. This is the sector of resources. Therefore, this period from January 17 to February 10 is a time when there will be less anxiety about some financial issues, less anxiety, less expenses, and more profit. This is a time when expected payments, some bonuses, will come. And also this is a very good time to make investments in yourself, in your development. Also at this time, you may receive wise financial advice from some woman close to you. January 18 is your day. On this day, a new moon occurs in your sign, in the first house of your horoscope. And regardless of the exact day you were born, a new moon in one's own sign is our personal new year. And what is conceived or started now will be realized around the end of June 2026, when a full moon will occur in your sign. And this day, January 18, is a day only for you. This is a time to think about what you want exactly for yourself. To think about what improvements, what changes you want for yourself. The exact time of this new moon is 1951 Greenwich Mean Time. This is a time when you are the creator of your own future. Yes, the new moon day itself is usually felt by us as a mini eclipse, and this creates a certain imbalance and chaos in thoughts. But you must definitely focus on your future and make your wishes. On January 20, on this day, the planet Mars, a source of strength and energy, will be in an aspect of luck relative to the planet Uranus, which in your horoscope will affect the 1st and 5th astrofield. This is a day of luck for you. This is a day when you will perform a correct and timely action. Although it may seem to you that the moment in this matter has already been missed, but that is not the case. The right moment is precisely now. Now a loop of Uranus is occurring in an aspect of luck relative to your sign, and this will last from January 20 to February 21. And this is the time to accomplish what you planned back in May 2025. This may concern creative projects. It may concern the sphere of personal life and also issues of your children's development. For some, this may be choosing a new profession. And on the same day, January 20, another very important event occurs. The conjunction of Venus and the planet Pluto in your second house of the horoscope. And this planetary cycle will last until March 6, 2027. Venus symbolizes our material desires, symbolizes our values in different senses of the word, symbolizes our material well-being. And Pluto is the energy of transformation, and their conjunction occurs in the second house of your horoscope. This is the sector of our resources, values. Values both material and non-material. This is the house of our resources, both property-related and resources of our physical potential. And Pluto will change the situation here. For some through a change in the source of income, for some through a change in the level of your income, for some through a change in the transformation of your physical and energetic state. For some through changes in your system of values, for some through a major purchase, acquisition. But now only the beginning of this cycle is happening. On January 23, on this day, a conjunction of the Sun and Pluto occurs in your second house of the horoscope. The annual cycle of transformation begins, since Pluto symbolizes changes, radical changes. The representatives of your sign are well acquainted with the influence of Pluto, because it spent many years in your sign, spent the period from 2008 to 2024. Pluto brings transformations, and every year at the moment of conjunction with the Sun, a new transformational task of Pluto is activated. Now Pluto is in your second house of the horoscope, the sector of finances and personal resources, and it will be here for a very long time, until 2040-243. And here it has a wide field of possibilities for transformation, because the second house symbolizes our resources in different senses. These are both our active incomes and our passive sources of income. Resources for ourselves are also ourselves, our physical and energetic state. Resources are also our values in the broad sense of the word, our beliefs, since we usually act based on our own system of values. For Pluto here, yes, there is a wide field of possibilities for transformation, and usually it does not take on everything at once. Each year, at the moment of conjunction with the sun, it takes on a new string of our earthly existence. And here, on this day, January 23, it is important to see the hint, the sign about which direction, which string of our existence Pluto will take on this year. On this day, you will receive a hint about what exactly from the sphere of the second house function of the horoscope Pluto will transform in 2026. This may be an issue related to your personal income, the source of your income, or its level. These may be issues related to your savings, to how you manage some of your property. Also, this may be a theme related to strengthening and improving your physical shape. Here, your method of mutual settlements with other people or the principles of organizing your budget, personal or joint, may also change. I will make a separate video with more details about this important annual Sun-Pluto cycle. On January 26, on this day, the planet Neptune, for the second time now finally, moves into the fiery sign of Aries. Neptune shapes the values and ideals of people. Neptune shapes the ideals of a generation. And in Aries, Neptune is militant. Therefore, we are awaiting a new era, an era of extremes and fanaticism. In a personal horoscope, Neptune symbolizes our ideals, values, our dreams, but also the exposure of our illusions. And Neptune will settle for many years in your fourth house of the horoscope, which symbolizes our home, place of residence, and also intrafamily relations. I will make a separate video with more details about the essence of this transit and its influence on each of the zodiac signs. For your sign, Neptune here will change the ideal image, the ideal picture of your idea of home, family, and intrafamily relations. On January 27, on this day, the most powerful astrological event occurs, the strongest and foundational. A conjunction of the planet Mars and Pluto occurs in your second house of the horoscope. Mars symbolizes our personal strength, and Pluto the collective. Mars is the force that comes from within us, and Pluto is the force from outside. And on this day, both these forces, both these vectors of energy unite into a single and powerful stream. Figuratively speaking, this is the moment of that very explosion from which personal universes, personal realities of each person are formed. These planets, these forces unite on this day into a single stream, which both destroys and revives. And for each of us, this is a very important day when we can direct this flow of force with our intention into the channel we need. On this day, everyone chooses the main field of transformation of their existence, the main field of personal battle for their own success, for a success that is not just a small improvement, but a triumph. I will, of course, also make a separate video detailing this. Thus, from the point of view of astrology, will be the first month of 2026. I wish you a wonderful and successful month, dear Capricorns.